Volkswagen.
Yes. So Volkswagen and Audi both have said that, like a lot of manufacturers we've discussed recently, they are going to be sticking with gasoline-powered cars, quelle surprise.
But what does that mean?
It means that they will be doing EVs, but they're kind of pushing a lot of that development down the road to release those models. They saw sales decreases of Volkswagen saw sales decreases of 2.7% last year. Audi was even more sharp. They declined by 7.8%. So they're feeling it too, that people just aren't buying their electric cars.
I remember when the federal government, as a penalty, made Volkswagen make electric cars.
Yep. Yes.
Yep. And electrify America.
The turntables.
Because they killed people. And then the government said, all right, you got to make electric cars now.
But sort of to work.
That's how I remember it.
That's pretty much how it went. But to get around basically what they're doing is they're going to be investing more money into facelifts of current models that exist. They're not going to be developing new internal combustion models necessarily, but they're going to kind of push this down the road a little bit and see what happens.
It sounds like more of a wait and see plan than we're sure of what's going to happen.
And I think that
that's probably the right idea.
I think that is the right idea. I suspect because Lamborghini pushed it. They said they pushed it down the road, but they did push it down the road. They know that's where it's going, but I think
and we all know that's coming. This is a 93?
Yeah.
What a cool car.
Here's the thing.
And
driving around Europe last summer, you see trillions of ID3s, some ID4s, a bunch of ID buzzes, short ones, all with German plates. But nonetheless, they've had success. This is a case where Europe, which is where they're based, has adopted these cars pretty nicely, but nowhere else has. And in the US, they only sell the ID4 and ID Buzz. They said they're not bringing the ID7 here.
Asia doesn't buy these? Or not Volkswagen?
Maybe through some joint partnership?
I got to tell you, one of the comments we always get incredibly nasty comments whenever we talk about electric cars don't they get that electric cars they suck and we want gas?
Nah.
Let the economy sort it out. Let capitalism sort it out is what they often say. If capitalism were to sort this out, China would win. China would just straight win. If we want China to win, then we go have China win. I mean, that's how we want it to be. I don't know. In my America, we try to win. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be Trump, but in my America, we win. And the America that I've known and that I've seen over the last 200 years, you try to win. You try to be at the forefront of technology and everything else.
Man, 200 years? Christ, you look good for 200 years.
Heck yeah. But the point I'm making is if we let capitalism sort this out, China wins this game. Mm-hmm. All these automakers, and by the way, isn't ID4 built in the States, right?
The ID4 is built in the States.
All these automakers are pulling back on these EVs. If that's the way we want to go, then that's the way we want to go. But the Chinese EVs, I've driven them. They're way ahead. They're way ahead and they're way cheaper. And China's going to walk around and start selling these cars in the other markets and start gobbling up market share in all those places too. And pretty soon our auto industry is going to be Ford selling cars to Americans.
Can we talk about how beautiful this photo is? There's two ID3s.
You're not going to take this.
There are no other electric cars in this shot.
He's afraid of the
politics. There's no other electric cars in this shot whatsoever except for these two, which is fascinating.
People just further
they're going to go from an EA 888 to an EA 4 quadruple 8 to just keep going with their engine naming structure.
That's all he wants to do.
That's all I want to talk about.
I'm not wrong about this.
No, you're not wrong about this.
Come on, admit that there's an interesting story there, which is that if we continue to pull back on EVs, which is what's happening, and if we don't incentivize EVs, which might be the right move, it's certainly what the consumers seem to want right now. But if we do that, China is not in that situation, and they are making these cars better and selling them better. And every week we report on a new automaker that is pushing back their EV targets.
I think the other thing that often gets missed in this is that we have, over the years, the US and Europe and other countries have heavily incentivized a lot of different things that we have kind of forgotten. The reason that diesels were so big in Europe is that diesel was heavily subsidized or incentivized, right? There were incentives to manufacturers building them. Diesel was a little bit subsidized by the US government or by the European government.
But for many years, those were successful products that European companies built.
But with some benefits. And when they were first starting, I'm quite confident the US government subsidized cars by building highways. There's a lot of things where we kind of accept it in retrospect, where now we're having that conversation with EVs and looking back at it, will we think, if we keep going down that road of subsidizing them, I think we'll just view that as normal because it kind of is in the bigger scheme.
Right.
It's an interesting question.
But if we don't, then EVs will probably walk away because Americans are not particularly interested in them without subsidies. And then
maybe.
And then
technology advances.
You go to Mexico, you go to Latin America, the Chinese cars are already there. They're already selling them there. They're going to continue to. You go to Southern Europe, they're already there.
Technology advances though on electric motors, on batteries, and that will also make an impact.
Yeah, but the question is, will when we eventually adopt it, when we have to, will China have already succeeded? Do you know what I'm saying?
And they will have charging stations and better technology. And yes, 100%.
And that's the fear. That's the fear with walking this back. That's the fear with the government walking it back. And that's why we can't just necessarily just let capitalism sort it out when we have the conversation. Because capitalism may sort it out in a way that is not favorable for us. And our government has this isn't pure capitalism. Our government has the ability to kind of put their finger on the scales of what actually
This
succeeds.
is not where I thought this conversation would go.
I'm surprised to hear myself saying this too, but I've been thinking about this more and more over the last few weeks. And when you hear about when I drive these Chinese cars, I'm astonished. They shouldn't have sent them to us. Now we know how good they are. Now we're like, crap, we got to catch up.
Maybe they're going. Yeah. Right, I mean, Ford CEO a few months ago had an interview where he said that he drove the Xiaomi SU7.
He's been driving it around.
And it's like, this is better than what we're building.
Yeah. That's interesting. You know how Mercedes Gullwings or Porsche 959s have typically always been valuable and will continue to go up in value? It's kind of similar to gold, which is why we've partnered with a company called Acre Gold. Financial experts and big banks agree the value of gold is climbing to new heights in 2025 and beyond. So how do you get in? Buying gold can feel complicated and expensive, but Acre Gold subscriptions make it easy and affordable. With subscriptions from $30 to $250 per month, Acre Gold makes gold ownership a reality for every budget. How does it work? Well, make automatic monthly payments into your stash until you reach the price of an Acre Gold bar. Once you pay for your bar, Acre Gold discreetly ships it to your door. Markets go up and down, but gold has stood the test of time. It's real, it's solid, and now it's easier than ever to own. Secure your wealth and take control of your future. Start today at getacregold.com.